All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Whatever time it is, wherever you are on God's beautiful earth, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying hydrated. And I'm super glad that you've decided to join me today for this presentation. I am Saved Zillennial, and boy, do we have something special in store for you today. If you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We do a lot of content like this that's just sort of, you know, fun video game stuff. This episode specifically is actually the first in a series that we're doing, Blockbuster Pizza Party Friday Nights, hence the weird profile name. What the heck does that mean, right? You might be saying to yourself, or you might be saying that to your television or other screen. That's funny. But Blockbuster Pizza Party Friday Nights. So basically, what we're trying to do with this series is recapture a very specific period, or rather, recapture the energy of a very specific period of time in my childhood, where yes, I am actually old enough to remember when blockbusters were still a thing. I guess technically there is still one blockbuster that's open in Alaska, I think is what I read. Um, I don't know if it still is though. I saw that years ago. That joke about the last blockbuster. But obviously, whatever it is, it's not culturally relevant anymore, except in the context of nostalgia and retro stuff. But yeah, I was born in 1998, so I'm 26 years old. Not super old, not super young. Part of the reason that my username has Zillennial in it, you can look up what a Zillennial is, but it's basically just sort of this micro generation between millennials and Zoomers, kind of just like late stage millennials, early stage Zoomers. Um, the culture that I have is kind of a little bit of a mix of both. I personally kind of lean a little bit more towards like millennial stuff, but obviously grew up in the 2000s and 2010s, so also a lot of that kind of stuff as well too. But this isn't necessarily a discussion about my cohort as far as my age is. Just a little bit of fun backstory for you. But yeah, there was a specific time in my life. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old, maybe 10, somewhere around there, in the mid 2000s ish, where what my family would do is on Friday nights we would go to the local blockbuster that was up the road from us. We would rent a movie or two to watch as a family. I would get to rent a video game for my GameCube, and we would order a big pizza from this local shop up the road. And basically, Friday night, we would all sit in the living room, eat the pizza, watch a movie or two, and then for the rest of the weekend, I would blow out my retinas playing GameCube games on my SpongeBob SquarePants built-in DVD player television. Which, if I remember to, I need to edit in a picture of that so you guys can understand what my setup was, what my peak high performance gaming setup in the 2000s was. And yes, you heard me mention GameCube. Through the fantastic innovations in technology, this presentation is actually I'm actually playing this game on my original GameCube, the one that I got when I was a kid. Right about now, you should see some B-roll footage of my GameCube, and that'll just give you kind of an idea. I mean, this is all real stuff. I'm not using an emulator or anything like that. Obviously, it would be a little bit easier to do that. I would have access to a lot more games. But emulators, to me, I mean, I don't necessarily want to say that it feels like cheating, because that's not really what it is. I mean, if you have a desperate desire to play a game that doesn't really, exist in any physical format that you can get your hands on, emulators can be good for that. And I've used them over the years for certain games. But within the context of this presentation, since we're kind of in that sort of mindset of trying to recapture, a little shard of nostalgia from youth times, I thought it would be fitting to actually use my original GameCube. So I've got the GameCube hooked up to the Elgato through some pretty sketchy means. But I mean, it's working pretty good. I've tweaked some of the settings a little bit. Um, Let me sort of give you guys maybe some baseline stuff real quick, more specifically for this game, because I don't know how prevalent it's going to be for other games that I play on the GameCube in this format. Um, this game is not great. When it comes to like audio quality and visual quality, it's really bad. the brightness of the game is so horrible. There are parts of this game where literally if I'm actually looking at it through just the regular screen, like 80% of the screen is essentially black because the way that they colored it, the way that they did the brightness and the shading or whatever, it's so atrocious. I've tweaked some settings in the Elgato, um, so that on the other end in the recording, it'll be a little bit easier to see. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's really not much I can do about the graphics. It is what it is. I mean, hey, that's part of the fun, right? Um, for those who might be a little bit more used to the super highly polished photorealistic 4K 69,000 FPS games that are coming out now, this is going to probably give you an aneurysm. But honestly, like I said, I think that's part of the fun. There is a really interesting sort of like this sort of like graphics and just style. They really, I know this sounds so cliche to say this, but they really do not make video games like this anymore. Um, and I mean, obviously, objectively, it's not as good as like newer Call of Duty games. Um, but for what it is, if you have that nostalgia, if you maybe grew up playing it like I did, this is actually the first Call of Duty game I ever played. I really didn't know what the franchise was. I just picked this up from a GameStop, back when GameStops were a thing, right? I picked this up just because it looked cool, right? I was one of those weird kids who watched the History Channel, and I had this fascination with World War II. So when I saw that there was a World War II video game for my GameCube, I was like, oh, whoopity doo. Sorry, I'll try not to do that ever again. That was horrible. Um, I to give you some perspective, right? I was coming off of playing stuff like Mario Party 6 and 7, um, a couple other different kinds of like there was a couple of Harry Potter games for the GameCube that I had. So like something like a Call of Duty game, a first person shooter on a GameCube at that point in my life was totally just new territory, right? Like Brave New World. And it absolutely blew my mind. I remember staying up into the wee hours of the night on weekends, Friday, Saturday nights, playing this in a dark room on my aforementioned SpongeBob television, just having a good time, right? My mom bought my GameCube for me. She gave it to me, I think, on my 8th birthday. It was either 8th or ninth. She bought it used from a garage sale. And if you think about the time frame, uh, I think if it was my 8th birthday, or even if it was my ninth birthday, we're talking probably like 2006 or 7-ish, there or thereabouts. So you kind of have to think that, the other stuff that was around at the time, that would have been kind of around the time that GameCube was sort of on the outs. I mean, a lot of people still had them. They were still selling games for them at GameStop. I think most of them were used, though. I don't know how many new games were floating around at the time. But we were contesting with Xbox 360s, I believe, were out by then. PS3s might have already come out by then. I mean, that just kind of puts it into perspective, right? Before I got my GameCube, I really wasn't a gamer as such. I was just more kind of like a go to the park and uh, hit a tree with a stick kind of kid. Not really, but I wasn't really in the video gaming sphere at the time. The only console I had played before my GameCube, the first console I ever played, was an original Xbox that my aunt owned, and I would play Halo 2 on that. That was actually the first video game I ever remember playing was Halo 2 at my aunt's house. Ironic though, because she didn't have Combat Evolved, and so I played a bunch of Halo 2 at her house and did not play Combat Evolved until years later. Um, I didn't even play Combat Evolved until the anniversary version of it came out, like around the time of Halo Reach. Um, Man, maybe we'll play some Combat Evolved for Blockbuster Pizza Party Friday nights. That would be pretty fun. Like some classic graphics, none of this super high fidelity HD that all the people like. But that's a whole rabbit hole for another different day. But yeah, I mean that just sort of a real brief background, just so that you kind of understand the headspace that I'm getting into for this. Um, Obviously, at the time of releasing this, you've got all the new Call of Duty games that are out. Like Black Ops 6 just came out not too long ago. Which, holy cow, that's another rabbit hole. Could you imagine telling me way back when I was like a little bit, later on in my life, like middle school kind of era, I would have been playing like Black Ops 2 when that came out, and that was just so sick. Gosh, same stuff. I totally remember staying up until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Friday and Saturday nights, playing Black Ops 2, just getting absolutely roasted in voice chat on the Xbox 360 back in the. I don't know. I guess it depends on who you were, but back in the either the good old days or the bad old days before chat moderation, no opinion. I have no opinion on modern day chat moderation. But yeah, I mean, if you would have told me back when I was playing Black Ops 2 that they would eventually release a Black Ops 6, I would have just laughed in your face. All of my buddies and I who were playing Black Ops 2 at the time, it blew us away that they even made a sequel to Black Ops, because Black Ops was so good. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, wow, they can't get much better than this, futuristic. This was kind of coming off the tails of, like, Black Ops 2 was cool because it did, like, the Cold War kind of stuff. I think prior to that, they were doing, like, Modern Warfare stuff. And then, even prior to that, in this sort of era of Finest Hour, it was all World War II stuff for Call of Duty. Um, but yeah, I just can't believe that they're on Black Ops 6. And you know what? I hear it's pretty good. I have not played it yet. I've been sinking my time into, games that nobody really talks about anymore, such as Finest Hour. Um, but yeah, just letting you guys know up front, the graphics are not going to be great. The audio is going to be kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of limitations when it comes to in-game adjustments for audio. And by that I mean there's actually no adjustments that you can make whatsoever. So I've just kind of kicked the volume relatively down. Hopefully you'll still be able to hear it pretty well, but if I don't lower it quite a bit, then it's just going to totally drown out how I talk, because the way that they mixed the audio in this video game is just not great. I've noticed in some of my test footages that there is some audio glitching that goes on. Um, but that's just kind of what you have to deal with when you're playing old games like this. If I mess with it much more, it just probably would, mess with the footage or anything like that. So I'm kind of about ready to just kind of let it go, and just release it as it is. If you're somebody who's tuned into some of my other presentations, mainly like my Minecraft relaxation block or my Minecraft Lost in the Woods horror stuff that I'm doing, you know that these formats are generally freeform, unscripted, uncut, real time, not really any editing to speak of. So you get to put up with all of my annoying pauses and my speech impediments. And if I have to sniffle, I apologize. You might hear my dogs barking in the recording. They're kind of on one tonight, so I apologize for that. But you know what? I could make this a highly polished presentation, but I think that would take a little bit of the fun out of it, because like I said, we're gonna take you back in time, right? Like, who among us, if you're a gamer and grew up with video games, you spent a Friday or a Saturday night just kind of playing video games. Maybe you invited a friend over, you went to a friend's house, and it was just fun. Whatever happens. You talk about school, you talk about movies and video games, and play with some Legos, play some video games, and gosh, just, man, take a bit of a pause here because I'm like having flashbacks, but oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm too young to be having these sorts of weird flashbacks. But yeah, all that is to say that this is pretty crude, I guess, is a pessimistic term for it, but I hope you guys can appreciate this sort of like freeform stuff. But without further ado, man, I've been talking for quite a while without really doing anything. So let's just kick it in. Let's just freaking go for it, right? Saving to the memory card. Save successful. Start the game. This is a cool video game, right? To me at least. Like I said, if you're somebody who doesn't really have any experience with Finest Hour, you're probably just kind of like, okay. Maybe you've tuned in because you watch my other content, which, you'll probably get into it just because you already know what you're getting into with me anyways. I guess I should say, if there's anybody who is tuning into these presentations for Finest Hour looking for like a game guide, or like a walkthrough, this isn't really that. This is not like a professional quality walkthrough. I'll probably die a lot. I'll probably get lost a lot. This is just for funsies. But yeah, this game always was cool to me when I was a kid because, like I said, I was a little bit of a World War II nerd as like an 8 and 9 year old. Yes, I actually was. I watched a lot of History Channel and stuff like that. So it was cool to me because I already kind of had like a foundational knowledge of what World War II was. It was in my zeitgeist as a kid. So I knew about like Eastern Front. I knew about British stuff that was going on. And of course, I knew about American stuff too. This game is kind of neat. It's broken up into 3 different sections. You play as a Russian on the Eastern Front. You play as a Brit on the North African Front, doing some like special ops, like SAS stuff or whatever. And then you get to play as an American at the tail end of the war, right in the thick of it, man, right in the jaws of the wolf itself in Germany. So that's pretty fun. But I always thought that was cool as a kid. And there's another reason that I thought it was cool, and that I think you'll think is thinking cool. Oh my gosh, wow. Here is something else that I think you are going to agree is cool.
Europe, 1940. Hitler's ruthless quest to extend Germany's borders has his people at war with the world. The mobilization of armies by Britain and France proves no deterrent as the Nazis invade their European neighbors to the north and west, while extending their reach eastward towards Russia's critical oil fields. By fall, Germany's lightning war to soften England is launched, and America increases production, racing to aid the British. By 1941, the battle for North Africa is on, as Rommel's Afrika Korps arrives in Tripoli. On the Eastern Front, an impatient Hitler breaks his pact with the Soviets. Stalin responds with a scorched earth policy, intent on leaving only ruins for the Nazi invaders. But one by one, his cities fall. Now, in 1942, massive German air raids commence against Stalingrad, and the battle for this noble city turns vicious. The Red Army refuses to retreat, and a counteroffensive is launched against a force that now stretches from the Volga to the Atlantic and deep into the African desert. Against impossible odds, millions come forward to answer the call of their countries, their families, their lives.
I promise this is not communist propaganda. No, but like, look at that, right? Sorry, that was a bit of a non sequitur, but I could feel myself just kind of talking in circles, so I figured we would just get the presentation going further. But I mean, could you imagine that? Like, you literally will not... Oh, sorry.
I thought I was safe.
Just in case you want some backstory.
I would learn the business, then open a shop of my own. Maybe get married, have children, start a life. But now our cities are under attack, and Stalingrad will put an end to those dreams. We should have known the Germans would turn on us, break the treaty. They have no honor. The commissars rounded us up so quickly, speaking of the motherland, the sacrifices of our brothers, our duty. I'm only 20, but I'm ready to fight to the death. The sight of my home Stalingrad infuriates me. It is as if hell itself were burning.
Yeah, I probably won't talk much for just a little bit. I know you're probably like, oh, finally. Get a little break from me. But this introduction is kind of grandiose, and it's, I don't know, it's just so cool to me. So I'm like in hushed awe, just like I was when I was a kid. Yeah, look at this.
Welcome to Stalingrad. You're about to begin the greatest moment of your life. The Germans have lost hundreds of tanks and planes. Hitler's brutalized hordes are now advancing towards Stalingrad over mountains of their own dead bodies. Our Bolshevik party, our nation, our great country have given us the task not to let the enemy reach the Volga and to defend the city of Stalingrad. Forward against the enemy, up into the unremitting battle, comrades! For Stalingrad, for our great country, not one step back! Cowards and traitors will be shot! Do not count days, do not count miles, count only the number of Germans you have killed! Kill the German! This is your mother's prayer! Kill the German! This is the cry of your Russian earth! Do not waver! Do not let up! Kill! Death to the German invader!
Imagine that, right? Yes, I was indeed playing this when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Yeah, that's really how it was too, I guess. Especially on the Eastern Front, there were guys who were getting, you get the bullets, and then the other guy would get his Mosin, and then when the other guy died, you'd get his rifle, or if you died, he'd get your cartridges. Pretty desperate stuff over there, I hear. I'm not a historian. I know I just kind of went on a whole diatribe about being like a World War II kid or whatever. I mean, I found it fascinating, but, you know, I'm not the kind of guy who can, like, rattle off dates and different names of, like, I know some of the heavy-hitting battles, especially, like, Stalingrad, right? Wake Island, Pacific Theater stuff. But dates, I'm not really good with dates in general. I'm not, like, an encyclopedia when it comes to this stuff. Cool. This game, oh my gosh, I just don't even know if I'm going to be able to adequately describe to you the way that the controls work, because imagine like modern day Call of Duty, you have a jump button, and then you also have like your crouch, you just kind of hold the crouch to go all the way down and all that. This one, there is a separate, you kind of have to go through like an entire chain of commands. So there is one button that puts you down, so you have to press it once to go prone. Or sorry, you press once to crouch, and then you have to press twice to go prone. And then there's another button that you have to press 2 separate times to get all the way back up. So basically, from going to doing that, that's 4 separate button pushes right there. I don't know if those machine guns are totally going to drown out what I'm saying. And there's no sprinting in this game either, so like if you're used to being able to sprint, that is absolutely not a feature. Yeah, you're probably already kind of can be able to tell what I was talking about, which is the way that the brightness is in this game. This level is kind of the worst one. A lot of the other ones are a lot better than this, but there are some parts of this game that are pretty dark. Like, check it out. Like, right now, like, 80% of the screen is pretty much like, if I hadn't have adjusted some of the settings, it would be basically black. Whoa! Homie got clapped. Boom! Check that out. I mean, it's not terrible. I can almost assure you, if you go from playing like, you know, Black Ops 6 or whatever, or some of the newer Modern Warfare remakes, Black Ops Cold War, which I thought was pretty good. If you go from something like that to something like this with like the hardcore analog controls, I mean, it's just, oh, it's horrible. It is horrible. You can get used to it for sure. But yeah, it takes some getting used to. There is like a horrible learning curve, dude. I think I might have just shot one of my own guys. Fish in a barrel. Ooh, MP40. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes the controller just sort of glitches out, and it'll just like kind of, you'll just barely tap it, and then it'll move like all the way across the screen. I know, you're probably thinking, man, he's just making excuses, but it really is that bad. Alright. Let's boogie. Yeah, this part of the game has a lot of the cinematic music, because, I mean, this is just sort of like the introduction, right? It's supposed to be grandiose. So it's pretty funny. I've always been somebody who's been into Legos like since I can remember as a kid, and there was a certain point in my life around the time that I was starting to use the internet on a relatively regular basis. My family did have a PC for a bit, but it was very, very basic. It was just my stepdad's for work, but I would play, like, you know, Flash games, browser games. I wasn't really into, like, cool math games, but I played, like, CartoonNetwork.com. It used to have some really cool games. Maybe if I can try to, like, I don't know if maybe I can do, like, Internet Archive or, like, Wayback Machine and try to see if I can't find some old Cartoon Network Flash games. That would be a super niche topic to do. But I would also... I eventually discovered, like, custom Legos, which blew my mind, right? Like, you know, I was like probably 12 years old or so, still playing this game, because like I said, I played this for quite a while. I would still come back to it and play it, because it was, you know, I thought it was a fun shooter. But when I discovered that there were custom Legos, it sent me down this whole rabbit trail of, like, custom Lego guns. And anybody who's into Legos, right? Like, I'm sure if you're a fan of the channel, you've probably seen my profile picture. It is, like, my, you know, Lego avatar, or whatever. But anybody who's into Legos knows that there are a lot of companies, especially nowadays, that, because, like, 3D printing is such a thing, there's a lot of companies that do custom Lego parts that are compatible with Lego. And... you know, that concept has actually been around for quite a while, and anybody who's familiar with, like, Brick Arms is, like, this guy who ages ago started doing, like, his own custom injection molded, you know, Lego compatible pieces, and they were all, like, military themed, right? So he would have, like, World War II weapons, some modern combat weapons, and when I was a kid and I discovered that that was a thing, it blew my mind. Because what I would do, I would actually, like, I would use my own Lego pieces as best I could to kind of build out, like, custom World War II figures. And when I found out that there was, like, custom World War II guns that you could get for your Lego figures, I mean, that blew my mind. And I always wanted to buy some when I was a kid, but I just, you know, obviously when you're a kid and you have to, like, beg your parents for money, that doesn't really, like, it's not really a thing. Oh, whoops, sorry, these guys are, like, totally trying to get me to use this machine gun. I'm just, like, reminiscing on the good old days. I think it's kind of funny that they set up an MG42, or what seems to be an MG42, when they're Soviets. But I guess, you know, it might have been like a battlefield pickup. You could have that as your, like, head cannon. I don't even think there's a cooldown on this gun either. I was not laughing at that guy getting shot, by the way. I was laughing at the idea of that machine gun not getting a cooldown.
I'm sorry you lost your sergeant, comrade. We won't let his sacrifice go to waste.
While we're in a cutscene, I'm going to readjust my position on my chair, so you're going to hear that. Sorry about that. Ooh, and then I'm going to get a quick drink of water.
We can't take back Stalingrad unless we control that bunker.
Maybe if we get enough subscribers, I'll do some ASMR, and you guys can... I'll put the microphone right up to my throat, and I'll take drinks of my bottle of water.
That Nazi flag must fall.
Okay. I don't think I can snipe all those guys from over here that are in the bunkers. I think I just gotta get down there and get it. But yeah, when I... That's like another little, like, niche kind of thing about me, is my fixation with Legos. Maybe if I remember, I'll throw in some, like a couple of pictures of some of the... Because, yeah, when I was a kid, I always wanted some of those Brick Arms, like, custom weapons. I would just kind of like do what I could with what I had on hand as a kid. I was really into Star Wars. I was a Star Wars kid for sure as well, among, you know, the other hobbies and stuff. But I had a lot of the Lego Star Wars pieces and everything. And, you know, the Lego Star Wars guns were, you know, pretty much perfect for making, you know, you could pretend that it was a World War II gun or whatever. And actually, you know, Lego even had a couple pieces. I remember having one of the, they have, I don't know if they still use it in any of their sets, but I distinctly remember there was a, like a Tommy gun that they had, among some other different pieces. So, you know, you could kind of do what you could with your own stuff to just make something that was kind of like reminiscent of World War II or whatever. And that's what I did, because I was a little Lego nerd. Making our way through the trenches. Uh-oh. Somebody behind me? I don't really know how the hitboxes work in this game, but they're not great. It doesn't feel like they're very good. I know, again, he's making excuses. He just sucks. You know, that I'm not saying that's not true. But if you go pick up a copy of Finest Hour and pick yourself up a GameCube, they're only freaking $100 at a retro game store. Which, you know, I am kind of being a little bit sarcastic. It seems funny to me that they're selling GameCubes for $100 a pop. And that's like relatively recent, because I remember, I mean, I guess within the last probably like 5 years or so is when the retro market, you know, when GameCubes kind of like popped into the retro market. Because for a while there it was just sort of like, yeah, you know, GameCubes, whatever. I never really saw them in any retro stores up until a few years ago. You see what I mean? Sometimes when I go to like make a small adjustment on the look stick, it just sort of like drags me across the whole freaking screen. There we go. There's also some issues, I think, with the controller. The controller that I'm using is an aftermarket GameCube controller. I know, ruined the immersion. I have an original GameCube controller, and it works okay, but it's, I don't know, it's not great. This one I think is a little bit better. Ooh, freaking Papa Shah. Right on. Yeah, if I remember, I'll throw up some pictures of some of my custom Lego pieces, World War II Lego pieces that I have now as a adult, you know, with adult money. The Papa Shah's almost out of ammo. Let's see, I'm kind of lost here. I think I went into the wrong trench. Shouldn't have went in there. Ooh. Uh-oh. Weapon switching is really slow. I mean, it's not meant to be played in the same way that people play modern Call of Duty games, like in any way, shape, or form. It's almost like, if you wanted to look at it this way, it's almost kind of like more realistic for that, you know? Because obviously some like poor Russian conscript, some poor like watchmaker's apprentice isn't going to come into the freaking trenches of Stalingrad and like just absolutely like tear it up, you know? So it makes sense that, you know, he doesn't really sprint around a lot. He doesn't have like quick weapon switches. You know, he's not 360 no-scoping with his Mosin. Man, there's a bunch of guys. Holy cow. I mean, it really is a good old-fashioned bunker storm. Alright, there we go. I think we cleared the first pillbox. Nice. Get a little bit of that. A little bit of that. More ammo. MG42 ammo. So can you get in... Can I get the MG42? No, that's an MP40. Weird. One thing I will say with some of the guns in this game, they model them really well. Oh. Ooh. Uh-oh. Are they behind me? Jeez, I gotta stay on my toes. I gotta stay frosty, guys. I lost all my, like, buddies that were helping me out. I will say that some of the models that they did for this game are actually pretty cool. Like, right here, the Mosin Nagant, I will say that they did a fairly good job at recreating that. I actually, this is pretty nerdy, but, you know, being a kind of a World War II geek, I actually own a Mosin Nagant, which is pretty cool. And this definitely, like, you know, the bolt and everything looks pretty much the exact same. Ooh, better pull out the MP40. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I better use my med pack. I'm gonna freaking die. I'm actually kind of impressed with myself that I haven't died yet. I think it's one of those games that, you know, as long as you're not really, like, just totally being a buffoon about it, you know, if you kind of just take your time, accept the fact that it's probably going to be better for you to, like, crouch down and walk as you're crouching so that you don't get hit by the machine guns and, you know, just be patient with it, you'll probably do fine. That's kind of, patience is really the name of the game with this one. Boom, there we go. One thing I was going to say a little bit earlier after we watched that, the cutscene to kind of introduce this part of the game, that sort of like historic, like black and white footage deal, I was going to say, could you imagine, like, you would never see anything like that in a modern Call of Duty game. You know, this definitely is a relic of its time period, you know, from a time where there was a lot more reverence that was shown to the topic, I feel like, you know, especially when it comes to, like, World War II stuff. Like, this kind of, I wouldn't necessarily call this educational by any means, but those little introductory cutscenes, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, they have them at the start of every, like, section, if you will. Remember I was telling you there's, like, an Eastern Front, an African Front, and then a Western Front section. Ooh, there's the MG42. Maybe we'll trade in the MP40, but look at that freaking grip angle. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't think that's right at all. Actually, here's what we'll do. We'll just go fully automatic because we're getting a little bit closer to the bunker, so we should be able to just sort of come in guns blazing, I think. I like having those bolt actions on hand because they're a little bit better for making those longer shots without wasting a bunch of ammo. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're kind of getting towards the bunker now. We should be going up to the main area. Sounded like my neighbors were hitting the wall. I live in an apartment, so unfortunately I have neighbors directly next to me. Apologies if you heard that. Ooh, get out of the way, dude, get out of the way. The AI is not great. Boom, boom. We're making our way, slowly but surely, huh? Nice. Let's pull out the big guns. You can't even aim down the sights. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Now, I don't really know how accurate it would be for one man to just sort of do walking fire with an MG42. I think that's pretty, fantastic. Pretty fantastical. Okay, we are there. Come on. Ooh, get out of here. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, I mean, it seems like there's a pretty fair amount of, like, health packs, you know, spread around. Boom, boom, boom. So I definitely think it's fair. Like I said, you know, if you are patient with the game and you just kind of play it how it was intended to be played, I think you'll do okay. Any loot? Nope. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is the end of the area, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to take... I can't remember if I take any of my weapons with me. Alright. Tear down the Nazi flag. Right on. Look at that.
My name is Tanya Pavlovna.
Oh.
We had little idea the Nazi invasion had pushed as far as our village until the night we awoke to the sound of tank tracks grinding in the distance. Tank shells sent my neighbors scurrying for cover, and in the chaos I was separated from my parents. The next day I was rescued by soldiers with the Red Army. I was 25.
Get another drink of water.
During my first skirmish, our squad was cut down, and I escaped into a collapsed building, where I took a sniper rifle off the body of a fallen comrade. My father's voice guided my aim as I cut down my first 4 Germans with that rifle. My skill was reported to HQ and I was assigned as a sniper and sent to Stalingrad. I've been hunting Germans ever since. They took my family and my home, and I intend to take their lives.
Yeah, that's actually, this is kind of funny, right? So I know a couple years ago when Battlefield 5 came out, people made a big stink about, you know, female player characters and stuff like that. I'm not even gonna like touch that. I think that issue's kind of been put to rest. But yeah, the Soviets actually did use female snipers, I think in pretty large numbers in World War II. So that's just kind of something that's interesting. I don't really know how many other countries were doing that, but you know, this is not historically inaccurate, I guess, to have a female sniper like this.
Let's relocate.
They still think we're over there.
Sniping in this game, as I recall, is not horrible, but not great. That's kind of the perfect way to describe this entire game. Not horrible, but, you know, not great. Gotta try to focus on this. That guy keeps running away. Boom. Oh. My spotter's telling me to move. I'm pretty sure the guy that's like my spotter right now is the dude that we just played in the last mission. Okay. There's not really many other windows, homie. Oh, okay, where am I supposed to move to, bro? Freaking dope. I'm trying. I'm trying my best, man. Oh, I shot that guy right in the butt. What the heck, man? Okay. Oh, whoops, that's our guy. Yeah, I know, but I can't see him. Oh, I guess I was supposed to move. There's one more guy. Where is he? Boom! Fish in a barrel. Okay, there we go. Booyah!
We need help. The Germans are advancing on our tank depot at the old tractor factory. Come with me.
Alright. Yeah, that's something that when I was a kid I really liked about this game was all the introductions that had like the historical footage and stuff. I mean, it's definitely a really interesting sort of way to tell a story, in my opinion. Because the idea is that, you know, you've got the intro footage that's kind of just telling the history, and that's just sort of like mixed in with like a fictional story of a fictional character, you know, and they get their backgrounds and stuff like that. So on the one hand, it's this nice little like juxtaposition where they have the larger scale of everything kind of like intermixed with kind of like set up against the actual individual stories of like the, you know, the boots on the ground. Yeah, this is another one of those areas where the brightness is just not my friend here. We're literally in the sewers. Ooh, we got grenades. That's cool. Booyah. Should I try a 360 no-scope? I'm absolutely serious, guys. That's how long it takes to go 360 degrees. Do they have... Anybody had any MP40s? Car 98. It'll just be nicer to have something that doesn't necessarily have the scope on it. Be a little bit easier for this close quarters. I mean, think about that. Like, if you're somebody who's, you know, into warfare, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but if you're somebody who's, especially if you're a video gamer, obviously you're pretty inclined to kind of like look at the differences between like, you know, something like World War II versus like modern day stuff. But think about that, like close quarters combat in World War II, a lot of guys were walking into battle with a 5-shot bolt action rifle, and we're having to do like clearing buildings and stuff with them. Like, it's pretty crazy. Brother is right behind me, forcing me to get right into the thick of it. I have a feeling we should probably keep our sniper because we're literally playing as a sniper. I feel like later in the level we're probably going to have to use our sniper. Uh-oh. Whoa. I just noticed I was about to die. That's something that, like, honestly, if you're somebody who has only ever played, like, more, like, recent Call of Duty games, like Modern Warfare and later, the idea of actually having, like, a set health bar and having to, like, utilize, like, what is it, freaking healing packs or whatever, med kits, you know? That's something that probably would take a lot of getting used to. You know, the idea of not having, like, auto regen as far as your health bar. Obviously, it's something that I forget about because I totally almost died there. You know, I haven't even used a grenade yet either. Ooh, whoops. Hey, eat this, guys! Boom! I mean, they both died, but it was a little anticlimactic, wasn't it? Got another med kit, got some more ammo, some grenades. Nice little resting area. Oh. Booyah. Just blindly throwing grenades into the darkness. Got one. Got another one, I think.
There's a small tunnel ahead. You'll have to crouch to get through.
Are we almost out of the sewers yet? I guess not. I have this problem with the left trigger where I'll be holding it and then for some reason it'll just sort of like stop me from aiming down the sights. Kind of weird. Just what you get with some of this older stuff, you know. I know I said it's a reproduction of a GameCube controller, but it's not super new. It's I got it years ago.
It should be around here somewhere.
So all of this stuff is old. Oh, holy cow. Oh, holy cow. That guy just got totally smoked. I guess this is where holding on to your sniper... Oh, no. No. Oh, come on. Jeez, man. Is there like a shortcut I'm supposed to take? Oh yeah, probably right here. Good night. Uh-oh. I'm out of first aid kits, so I really gotta be careful here. Oh, okay. Whoa. See, I thought there was somebody up there. It's so hard to tell. Oh, they're behind me. They flanked me. Ooh, oh my goodness. We are just gonna start madly just chucking grenades. I need a freaking first aid kit bad. Uh-oh. Where are they? Where are they? I mean, like I said, you could look at it kind of pessimistically and just say, like, wow, the game is really garbage. Like, it's just kind of really hard to play because it's not very intuitive with the way that the graphics are and the controls. But by the same token, you could also, you know, if you wanted to be a little bit more of a glass half full kind of person with it, you could definitely look at it as just being that much more realistic. Where are they? I can't see them. There we go. Did I kill that guy? Oh, I don't think he can die. I think he's got, like, protected status or whatever.
Climb down the ladder. The factory is just past this hole in the wall.
Okay. Hope there's some healing items in there, because I am on my last leg. Papa Shah. Nice. Alright, cool. Well, that's actually almost perfect timing. I think we're right about the hour mark, too. So I think what we're going to do is probably pause right there. And...
Hurry. The tractor factory is just ahead.
probably just go ahead and pause right there. Call it for this episode. About an hour in. That's kind of where I'm thinking of keeping these Blockbuster Pizza Party Friday night specials. Just about an hour. Yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm really impressed that I actually didn't die at all that time. Which is really good. It just, you know, means that we'll be able to finish the game a little bit quicker. I think I might have said this before, but just in case I didn't, this is going to be a full playthrough. You know, I don't really know exactly how long that's going to take to play through the whole game, but I don't know. Like I said, this is just something that's fun for me. If it's something that's fun for you, if it struck a chord with your nostalgia, or if it's just something cool that you like to see, definitely subscribe to the channel. That way you can catch when the next one drops next Friday. Go ahead and do the notifications as well, too. That way you know. If you're somebody who's not familiar with the channel, we do Mondays. We've got our Minecraft relaxation block. That's just, you know, usually about a 30 or 45 minute episode of us, you know, just kind of building a homestead in Minecraft and just taking it easy. And then on Wednesdays, we also do Minecraft horror mods. So, you know, we get the adrenaline pumping, do some spooky stuff. They're all kind of a little bit more like this longer format, free form, you know, light editing, you know, kind of just, you know, whatever happens, kind of fun. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you had some pizza. Hope you, you know, sat down and relaxed for a minute on this Friday night. And like I said, tune in next week. Or, you know, if it's well after the upload date, just head to the channel and see if you can't find the second episode of the playthrough. And with that, we will catch you next time. Hope you have a good night.